Right, hello there, mt-07 and Tracer fans. Um, just like a lot of people, I'm on the old forums and I have a flick through maybe once a week, and on the Facebook forums, and I keep seeing the same issue over and over again. The kill switch and starter switch on the bike here on the right hand side. And I do keep saying that, people keep saying them in, and then the warranty, Yamaha keep saying they replace under warranty, and they replace them. Some people have had 3 in 1 year, and some will come out of warranty and they're having to pay, was it £80 a pot? And it's, I had the same issue as everyone else. The bike got to about a year old, or whatever it was, 8 months I had it, and then this switch here would flip back and stay back. Now it's good as gold. There's a simple fix to this. As you can see, it springs straight back, and my bike hasn't gone to Yamaha, and I've fixed the switch itself, and I want to show you guys how to fix it. And all it is the compression spring inside. It's not man enough to flick it back, so as you pull it back, the current spring is so peeny it just stays there. See? So what I'm going to do is show you guys how to fix it, and it's as simple as stretching the spring. I've also mentioned this, and people have said, oh, but the spring just pisses off. You know, you put it in, it springs and you've lost it. Well, it's either that or you go and spend another 80 quid. And another chap said, if you bend it, it doesn't improve the compression. It does. I can assure you, give it a go, and then it will. It does improve the compression. And someone else said it weakens it and snaps it. Well, off you go. You go and spend another 80 quid, and then go and spend another 80 quid when it breaks again. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do this, and we'll go from there. Right, if you look on the bottom of the switch down here, you'll see two Phillips screws. I should have put the flash on, really. Let me put the flash on for you. Yeah, that's better, eh? Right, you got 2 screws here, Phillips, one here and one here. What you need to do is take them off. Don't worry, the spring ain't going to go nowhere. Take that plate off, and that'll drop the plate off, and that'll separate the switch from the handlebars. So let's do that now. Right, I've just taken the 2 screws out. Remember, one is longer than the other. I think the short one went at the front, but don't quote me on it. Don't quote me on it. I didn't really pay note. Remember to put them somewhere safe, and you're not going to roll off and lose them. Right. Now I've undone them 2 screws, as you'll see, this will come now apart. What you need to do is just gently wiggle. I want to put the camera down in a second, but you need to wiggle that down there so the switch is in your hand down here. So let me just do that now. Right, now the switch is off. As you can see, is the oh, what's that? Yeah, the hazard light switch. Almost forgot there. And this is simply it. This is the inside of the switch for the kill and starter, as we're looking at. Right, you need to undo that Phillips screw there. As you can see, just look at it, the orientation. Before you start taking these things apart, I'd recommend you also take pictures as you go. So as you can see, there's the groove box bit here, away from the wire. So when you pull it back together again, it's always good to take photos. So let me just take that Phillips out, and then we'll go from there. Right, okay, I've taken that Phillips out. You have to excuse me, I'm doing this one-handed. It would be nice to do it with a GoPro on my head or something, but I can't. Right, I'm just going to put that to one side. And here we have, there's the little spring in question. See how diddy it is. It's not often man enough to push the switch back. So what I did is took the thing out. So if I pull the red switch back, oh, that was the wrong way. Hang on. Doing this one hand is a bit tricky. Let me put the camera down, and we'll go into the next stage. Right, here we are. I've just had a quick look at it again. So it was last summer since I looked at it. So this bit here, the spring's connected to, actually just lifts out, and then the switch comes away. When you're putting this bit back on, the switch gear needs to be away. So push the switch away from you. If it doesn't, and the switch is in the middle, and when you put it back in, oh god, I've lost the spring, there it is. That spring attachment bangs up against that spring. So when you put it back in, I'll explain it again in a bit, that switch mechanism needs to be furthest away, so when it goes in, that spring doesn't catch on that edge down there. So here's the, let me put that other bit down. Here's the spring in question. Now here's probably a good chance to have a look at your connectors. So as the rain and dirt gets in through the top, I'd imagine, these connectors, brass or copper, whatever they are, it's probably now is a good chance maybe to clean them up, put a bit of grease on and WD-40 them, just clean them up, because they then connect onto the connectors in there. So it might be worth just making sure these are clean. I put a bit of Vaseline on them. I think that's what my old man used to do. We used to work for British Steel. They swear by Vaseline on the connectors out in all weathers. So that's what I've done, and mine look nice. So the question is this spring here. Now what you need to do is take this spring out. It's literally just gently in. So as you untake it out, you just see that little seat in there? It just sits on a little seat. Literally take him out and stretch it. So I'll just take mine out and just show you guys, but I need two hands for it just to make sure it doesn't give legs and go across the garage. Hang on. So as you see here, I've literally just unclipped it from its little seat, and then it sits in a little seat at the back there. So you see, it just clips in the back on a little grommet, a little groove. You see it just slightly raised, to bring the camera closer. And then it just sits inside there. Now that's all it is that spring. Just give it a tug. So that's currently the length of mine. Just give them a little pull. So take note of the length now, and you don't need to go mad with it. I mean, just give it a little, obviously give it a pull, but just stretch it slightly, but just don't go mad with it. It is a stainless steel. It's already got quite good compression, but that's all it is. So I'm going to just do that for you. So there we go, I've just given it a stretch. Probably doesn't look it, but I have. Maybe just give it more flick back for me. So I'm just going to reinstall this again. So you put that in first, and then that in second. So I'm just going to do that now. Obviously I'm not going to do it one-handed. So again, I was going to give it legs across the garage. So let me just do that for you now. Alright, if you're careful, that is really easy. I wouldn't recommend doing it outside. I did it outside, funny enough, and it plinged off, hit the windscreen, and then disappeared off down the back, and I only managed, it was actually right inside the engine, so I only managed to get it after quite a few minutes of looking, and I had to use a magnet to fish it out, magnet on a telescopic kind of extender. So there we go. So just be careful and put it back in, and it's literally what you've just done but in reverse. So we grab our seat here, we push it all the way back, so it's to the back, and then it drops in. So I'm just going to do that for you now. Right, okay, that's in there now. As you can see why I push that switch back, so then it gives you enough clearance between the spring and the bit that moves back and forth when you operate your red switch gear. Next thing to do is reapply that plate. Right, and there we go, I've just reapplied that plate again. Simple as that, really. It just maybe take a bit of giggling about to get it in there, but remember that gap, there's a hole in the front of this, and that goes opposite the red triangle. So when putting it in, it's a bit possible to put it around the wrong way. If you put it around the wrong way, that groovy bit would be over here. So it's pretty much self-explanatory. Thing to do is just put it back on. Put it back on as before. It's again, we're just doing it in reverse now. Now it's back into place. If it is a bit tight, you can just use an Allen key. I don't know what size that is, maybe a 6mm. Maybe a 6mm Allen key just to undo them, just to slide the brake over, but it's a bit of wiggling. I managed to get mine out, but it depends how everyone else is getting on. Just trial and error. Right, I've put mine back together again, and the short spring, remember those two different sizes, the short one goes at the front and the longer one goes at the back. But you can kind of see that when you look at it, because the short one's got a groove in it, you see. And this one's the longer one, you see how it's longer. Also, two things worth noting. Well, one thing worth noting. is if you do use the Vaseline inside on the connectors, don't go too mad with it. The spring, as you can see, is not particularly strong anyway, as it is in terms of compression, and Vaseline can be quite sticky, would you believe. I'm also a road cyclist, and I can feel if I pack my bottom bearings too much, on my bottom bracket, if I put too much grease and pack the bearings, I can actually feel resistance when I'm pedalling. So you wouldn't think it, but packing bearings too much and packing things, it can actually have a negative effect. So don't go too mad, just gently cover those connectors to stop them corroding, and then hopefully it springs back. If it's not springing back, repeat the process and then just stretch that spring a bit more, so you may have not stretched it enough. Any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. Thank you very much for watching.